This is Coach Charles Rendelman at Ithaca Archery, and I'm working with Max. Max, how long have you been shooting?
A few months.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I think
6 to
so.
8 weeks anyway?
Yeah.
Cool. What did we work on last week? Do you remember?
We were, I needed to put my chin up,
Okay.
and I needed to, push, move my shoulder blade that way and move this shoulder blade that way.
Okay. What was happening before we started to work on that? Do you remember?
I didn't have enough power.
Okay. And what happened after you started to work on that?
It got better.
Of course, that's one way to put it. Can you describe how it got better?
The arrows were more in the middle.
The arrows went closer to the middle? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got more out of the shot that you wanted?
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. So a couple minutes ago, I was watching you a little bit, and I said that I wanted to work on something today. Do you remember what that is? What did I say I wanted to work on? And if you can't remember what it's called, can you show me what it looked like when I asked you to watch me shoot?
After when you let go of the string, to move your hand back, not to keep it on your face.
Okay, so that's a pretty good way to describe it, and the name for that is called follow through. Okay, so we're just going to real quick talk about what follow through is and how it can help you shoot better. Can you shoot one arrow just to demonstrate the way you shoot right now?
Okay.
Cool.
Not doing the follow through?
Yeah, because we haven't really talked about follow through in enough detail for it to make a lot of sense, I don't think. There you go. So when your hand comes off this string, how would you describe it? What would you describe your hand coming off the string like?
Kind of just unhook the fingers from it.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about what unhook the fingers means?
Kind of move them out. Since
Okay.
When they're holding the string, they're hooked around. But then when I release the string, I just go like that.
Got it. So when you, like you said, go like that, what does what is go like that? Is it open your fingers?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you open your fingers on purpose?
No.
Like when you're ready? When
Yeah.
you're ready to shoot, do you open your fingers on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about follow through, and then we're going to start to work on it. So one of the things I've noticed is that sometimes your arrows fly to the left, even though you're really careful with your string alignment to make sure that your shot should be lined up in the middle, right? And I'm going to share a theory with you. When you open your fingers on purpose, it is actually possible that the shape of your hand coming off of the string is making your arrows go to the left. Does that make sense to you? And if it does, can you describe maybe a little bit about what that might mean?
I don't know.
You don't have any idea?
Doesn't make sense.
Okay, doesn't make sense. Do me a favor and bring your hand up to your anchor point, right? Look at the target. And now think about what happens to your hand when you open your fingers. So really slowly open your fingers. And now stop, freeze, and can you kind of take a look at your hand real quick? Was it touching your face still, or did your hand move away from your face?
The finger guard was touching it. The finger tab was touching it, but the fingers weren't.
Okay, and so I think you could probably figure this out. What happens when your fingers move away from your face? Is the arrow going to go to the right, to the middle, or to the left?
To the left, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Because when your hand moves away from your face, then all of a sudden you're, believe it or not, pointing the bow in a different direction. Let's take a look. I'm going to step in. So, if you're here and you have a really tight anchor and your hand comes off the string, your bow's going to stay lined up.
Yeah.
But if you're here and you open your hand,
Yeah.
it's kind of this idea.
Yeah.
Do you see what happened?
Yeah.
Right? Because your hand opens away, it's actually going to make the bow point in this
And the
direction.
string is going to be on this side of the bow, not this side.
Yep. So why don't you explain real quick what you just demonstrated? First of all, what is that called where you put the string?
That's string alignment.
String alignment. And you usually have the string where?
Here.
Right on the inside of the sight window. And I think you made a pretty good observation. When your hand moves away from your face, what does the string alignment do?
It moves here.
Okay, so it moves to the outside of the sight window. Got it. And that's going to affect your arrow how? How is it?
It's going to make it move to the left.
Got it. So that's the idea that we're talking about. Do you think you understand what I mean by that? Okay. So let's talk really quickly about follow through, and I just want to tell you that follow through is very much a part of what we worked on last week, which was moving your shoulder. You said shoulder blade towards the target on the bow side, and then around your back on the drawing side.
Yeah.
And just real quick, we decided to describe it that way, I think, because when we were working on that last week, it seemed to make sense to you when I actually kind of poked your back and said, bow side move away, drawing side move closer. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so for some reason you were like, oh yeah, I get it, I can do that, right? So what happens when specifically on your drawing side your shoulder blade moves closer to your spine? What does that feel like?
I'm kind of moving back more.
Kind of moving back more.
Yeah, moving my hand back, kind of. Because if I keep going, it'll just go like that.
Okay, so look at the target and just demonstrate for me really quickly that same thing. But what I'd like for you to do this time is, instead of, while you move right shoulder blade closer, shoulder blade around, however you want to think of that, while you do that, how about if you, instead of holding on to your anchor, let your hook follow your shoulder blade, your arm around your back. Does that make sense? It's hard to describe, I'm sorry. So go ahead, if you don't mind, bring your hand up to your hook up to anchor. And now demonstrate shoulder blade around and let your hand come off the hook, the anchor. Whoa, wait a minute, what just happened?
It just moved.
It just moved. Okay, so let's try that again, but this time what I'd like for you to do is keep your eyes focused on the target. Okay, so bring your hand up, right? Good anchor. And now move your shoulder blade around and let it come off the anchor. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Interesting. So here's what's true. Whenever your hand comes off the string, you have some kind of follow through.
Yeah.
But in the way that I would love to see you shoot, we want to have a very specific kind of follow through, right? And you just demonstrated that your hand can come off of your anchor point and move with your shoulder blade, kind of, right? So that's pretty close to what we want, right? We want to use that shoulder blade position, the way it moves around the back, to bring your hand in the same direction. So, how about this? You're doing such a good job without me getting in your business and stuff. You're really doing a good job of figuring things out. How about if you demonstrate that just one more time? Just bring your hand up, looking at the target, eyes on the target. Now, hold your anchor no matter what, and move around. There you go. Hold your anchor no matter what, and just move around. Is that as far as you can go?
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on the target. Don't look at me. Right? Remember that. Don't look at me when I'm talking to you. Okay, so if that's as far as you can go, then that's as far as you want to go. However, when you're ready to execute that shot, if you decide to let your anchor come off of your jaw, actually, right? How much farther could you move? There you go. Okay? Let's do that one more time, because I want to make sure that we keep your hook and your anchor as close to your anchor point as possible. In other words, we don't want your hook to move away from your face the way it was, right? Because we want to keep your arrows on center. This time, what I would like for you to do is come up to your anchor, look at the target no matter what. Now, come around and keep your anchor. There you go. This time, when you decide to let your hook come off the hook come off your string, so to speak, what I would like for you to do is keep your index finger, your pointing finger that's in the corner of your mouth, keep it touching your cheek as you come around. So go ahead, let the anchor go, and then there you go. Keep going until you're behind your head. Now I saw something interesting, right? Can you guess what I saw that was interesting?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, because I saw it and you were just trying to figure out my challenge. When you decided to let your anchor go, did you open up your fingers?
Kind of.
Kind of. And then did you remember, oh yeah, I need to keep this index finger touching my cheek as I come around?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to call that combining an older habit with a newer habit. So this time when you do this, what I would like to see you do is looking at the target. Go ahead. Come up to your anchor. Without opening your fingers this time, come around and keep that. There you go. That's the idea. Here's the challenge, though. Did you move your shoulder blade around?
Kind of.
Kind of. So I need a big commitment to move that shoulder blade around. I really want to see that shoulder blade coming around, because the way we're working on follow through is directly connected to the way we're working on bringing that shoulder blade around your back. The two, they're so connected, it's not even funny. So let's go one more time, making sure that your shoulder blade comes around. And then when you decide to let your anchor go, right, your shoulder blade stays coming around, and that hand just follows around with your shoulder blade.
Got it.
Got it? Let's do it. One more time, demonstrate. Okay, now, looking at the target, move your shoulder blade around. And then, better. That was much better. Are you ready to try that with the bow? Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to use a couple of cues, since it worked last week. When you set up and draw, I'm going to say away and around. Do you know what that means? You don't have to describe it, just a yes or no works.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what does away mean?
Move the shoulder blade that way.
And then around means?
Move the shoulder blade around.
Okay, so I'm going to give you those cues, and then when you come to your anchor, I want you to remember definitely around.
Got it.
And when you're ready to execute that shot, it's kind of hard to describe But instead of opening your fingers on purpose, I just want you to think about your index finger following your cheek until it lands behind your ear as you come around.
Got it.
Okay? Let's see, just see how that goes. Good string walking. Okay, set your bow hand before you set up. There you go. Set up and away and around. Good anchor, chin up. Now, when you're ready, around and let the anchor follow. There it is. That was a great job. Let's see you do that 2 more times. And I'm just going to sit back and watch. All right, go ahead and put your bow on the bow stand. And let's real quick go take a look at your 3 arrows, right? So come on with me. For learning a new skill, you only shot 3 arrows, right?
4.
You shot 4 arrows. Got it. Let's take a look. We've got 3 arrows super close together, right? We haven't even worked on how to aim or, any of that kind of thing, where to reference your arrow. And then we've got your one kind of crazy arrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, that's to be expected, isn't it? So how about this? Give me 2 thumbs up for the camera. You're doing a great job.